Is there anybody out there? Okay, yeah, I think we're on. We're live. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Asia Arangio. I am the CEO and founder of Demand Maven. I help SaaS companies and PLG companies troubleshoot really slow, frustrating growth. You know, the kind of growth where you're only growing like, I don't know, 2 to 5% year over year. And you are very frustrated with that. You'd like for it to be 40%, maybe 80%, whatever it is. I help companies unlock growth. And usually it's through a number of different methods and ways. But I am actually here today to talk about a company that I'm very excited to try. So I am going to test a product called Userlist. What I like to do in these live streams, honestly, don't even care how many people watch these. I just like trying products and filing away in my brain the things that I think are very successful. And then also kind of filing away in my brain a little bit of what the product actually does. I try so many different software companies and SaaS products that I like, they kind of just blend together for me sometimes. And I like to try things and just remember, and also things that I find inspiring or like really smart. Uh, I just yeah, like, I like to make sure I get it documented and we can actually possibly use that as a recommendation for maybe another product that might be similar or have like a similar challenge. Similarly, I may also have a few recommendations or just like questions for maybe how to improve a certain experience. Forgive me, I have a very large smudge on my glasses. I'm on my little screen today, so I'm gonna need these. But yeah, so we are going to go through user list. I'll share my screen here in a second and make sure also that there's nothing like totally embarrassing on my screen, like my mom texting me or yeah. So once I get that done, I actually have it pulled up this time, so I'm a little bit more prepared than I usually am. But all that to say, we are going to try user list. They have recently gone through a rebrand and I'm super pumped to give it a shot because I have not used Userlist in a long time. Also, full disclosure, we did actually work with Userlist several years ago now. Gosh, I think it was like very early Demand Maven. It's been 7 years since I've been running Demand Maven, going on 8. This had to have been like 2021, 22 maybe. I feel like Jane will remember better than I, but Jane and Benedict, I have been a fan of them for so long, and I cannot wait to go through this product. So it's been a minute. I'm familiar with generally with what Userlist does. I feel like they have expanded even beyond what I remember. So yeah, I'm excited to jump in. Without further ado, I'm going to share my screen. They actually already have some cool stuff happening on their website, but like I said, I'm just going to clean up really quickly, make sure nothing weird is happening over here. Put on my do not disturb because my mama be texting me sometimes, and that I can't make any promises for for what she may or may not send. Okay, so we're just gonna share screen and we're gonna dive right in. I actually have not looked at this really at all, so so I'm this is truly like for the most part at least this is new for me. Let's see, we're gonna do window to be safe because you never know. You just never know. Okay, let's see if I can adjust my layout just a tiny bit here. Okay. Um, yeah, I think we're gonna do okay, yeah, I hopefully this is not hopefully this works. If this is not the vibe, we can adjust the layout a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna pull up chat just in case. Just in case. All right. So we're on userlist.com. So this actually popped up after a few seconds, and I think it actually popped up because this might be exit intent. So before I click off of this, right off the bat, we've already got like a hey, like here's a special offer lead magnet, download this. And if I know anything about the user list team, I know that this is going to be like every touch point is going to be very well designed and thought out. It's going to feel very premium, and that's why I'm so excited. So okay. So right off the bat, this pop-up call to action, I'm already like it's gorgeous. Download your free guide on atomic emails. So for context, Userlist is they're more than just an email marketing platform. And we'll get into the copy and the content and all that here in a second. So from what I remember though, they're more than just email marketing. This is events based email marketing. that goes for they're really looking at like those sophisticated product experiences and then doing customer lifecycle emails based on customers experiencing the product. So it makes sense for them to offer a lead magnet like this. This makes a ton of sense. From what I remember, also, originally they were focused on targeting founders, like SaaS founders, software founders. We'll see if that's still true. So they could have certainly expanded, pivoted. We'll see. But this makes sense to have as like a call to action, especially given the target audience in the market. I'm actually gonna click I'm gonna X this out, but, so basically I was here, and then I think, like, after a few seconds, maybe, like, a minute since I was talking, it did pop up in the background, so I wanna say it was either timed or exit intent, but I wasn't paying full attention, so I actually don't know. But, okay, so this is the landing page. This is the main homepage. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's it feels this, like, sophistication, like, it feels like that. So this is a distinction that I think is very interesting. Okay, already different than what I remember. So I remember in the early days, they were more focused on founders, but it looks like they are positioning more towards product marketers. Ooh, okay, so that's exciting. Already it's so funny, I've actually reviewed a few sites that have this, like, very minimal like, they're leaning on layout and topography and, like, minimal design, but this feels so kitschy, like, in the best way. It also feels very, Keith Waring. Do you remember the artist Keith Waring? He used to do I don't wanna go on too big of a tangent, but it's got this, like, really kitschy art vibe that I'm very much a fan of. You don't see this very often. Typically, you see more, like I just feel like there's a very different art style right now that, designers are exploring specifically for SaaS companies, and this already feels different, and I am already a fan. Uh, I like that there's, like, a little call to action here that's like, "Celebrate the redesign with us." I'm very curious, but we'll stay focused for now. Email automation for sophisticated product marketers. So Userlist is an all-in-one email marketing platform that meets advanced needs of growing SaaS companies, dynamic segments, conversion goals, A/B testing, company level workflows, you name it. Okay, yeah. So if I were to compare this right off the bat in my brain, I'm thinking this is like customer.io, but probably different in some kind of way. You can start your 14-day free trial. You can book a demo call. So they are leaning into what looks like possibly the product led with sales assist, meaning people can sign up for the product and try it on their own. And then if assuming that they're qualified or if they would like to have a sales led experience, they have that option. But yeah, this is cool. So we're just gonna scroll here. So right now, like color palette, um, again, minimal, but I think it works for a product like Userlist. The logo and the oh god, what is this? There's a word for the logo type. Logo type, I think, is a little different. Yeah, it does look different, but still within the same family, I think, as the previous brand. But already this feels very like elevated and sophisticated and very like I'm going to sip like a fine wine or something. But so we have Serif font drive conversions at every stage of your product lifecycle. Yep. So I'm thinking customer.io, but this feels like it's lifecycle marketing. But we're really focused again on product marketers, which is who cares about that type of thing in the first place. Userlist helps you automate dozens of business use cases all in one messaging tool. Start with user onboarding and add more step by step. Oh, interesting. Add user onboarding? So is this onboarding emails or is this also like pop-ups and things? You know, like there's like different like onboarding tools out there that you can create that are like relatively no code um that you enable like you give access to like a product marketer who may be technical but might not actually be and giving them the ability to create onboarding experiences without necessarily being able to code. So that's my first question is what does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah. But maybe they're keeping it open intentionally so that way they have room to grow. So that could also be it. So we've got marketing lifecycle and transactional. Yep. This was kind of what I expected. Marketing, I feel like I'm pretty familiar with what this means. It looks like they have forms. Okay. Newsletters, company announcements, lead nurture. I remember when I first used Userlist, what feels like a billion years ago now, it was very much just focused on um, automated emails based on product events, so product behavior in-app events, and I think they had just started to do, one-off, one-time emails. I think they had just launched that as part of the product. I could be misremembering. And then they were starting to evolve, like, the marketing side of the platform. So life cycle, I remember they used to have, like, pop-ups, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. I feel like they had some type of pop-up. Um, Something that could trigger also based on user, behavior. But it looks like they have something related to user onboarding. That could just be emails, but it could also be other stuff. Helping folks convert from free trial to paid, upgrade to higher plans, switch to annual building, celebrate user milestones and anniversaries. Ooh, I like that. Collecting reviews. Okay, Userlist has been building. They have been building. This is no longer a tool. This is a platform. This feels like platform. We should maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're doing a really solid job of making me feel like this is, like, big, but maybe tool doesn't fit anymore. This is, like, a platform now. Uh, no, yeah, they say platform. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe we need to, like, this is more than just like a, one trick pony. Like, we're mass communicating. We're doing way more. So yeah, that's cool. Transactional? Yeah. So I remember there were I think some of the early use cases for user list were transactional for sure. Things like the account verification. Okay, so they are this makes me feel very strongly that they are going after customer.io's bag, which I am not mad at because there really aren't that many. I don't well, okay, I say that there aren't that many. I don't know of very many tools that do the full gamut successfully, at least. Now it's very possible that they exist, and I just have not heard of them, and that's part of the that's part of the game here is, like, how do you get people like me to know about a tool like that or a platform like that? But I think it's really cool to have it all under one umbrella because traditionally what a lot of teams will do is they'll use things like Customer.io and HubSpot or Customer.io and something else. It's nothing like lives all in one. And I think to be fair, ideally, I think, Customer.io would like for you to use all of it for everything, just like any SaaS platform. But no, this is cool. I like this tone. You might see it. It's showing pink kind of on this monitor, but it's like more purple, like lavender on this monitor. Either way, I like it. It feels very subtle. And I like this serif with sans serif. Like that combo feels very elevated. Also feels like editorial to me. And these graphics, this art is chef's kiss to me because again, it's new. It doesn't feel like something I've seen before. But it has that like really fun, playful, like kitschy vibe that I appreciate. It does kind of remind me a little bit of Notion, but not in a way that I feel like it's like I don't feel like it's like I feel like it's kind of like it's a different take on that style of like brand and artistry like in that way. Yeah, I like these graphics they're fun. I also feel too like if you're targeting product marketers, I also kind of feel like they like we want to be inspired, right? Um we don't necessarily have to have imagery of product, but I will say it might be kinda nice to have, like, a little bit of, like and I bet if I scroll down more, they might have more examples of what it looks like. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So things like this, like, I do wanna see it, but I will say the website is giving me already the feeling that this is gonna be something beautiful that you're gonna use, and it's gonna be very intuitive and yada, yada, yada. So you might not actually need product imagery. The, like, brand images probably are still okay to have, but I do wonder, do you get like a different behavioral set if you have more upfront product imagery with these like kitschy kind of graphics like sprinkled in between the art basically. So just a wondering. I'm not saying that that's like good or bad. Just I'm just curious more than anything. But I do like how it is today. Yep, don't send emails, build an automation empire. Yes, this makes sense. Again, if you are familiar with this space and this world, this is gonna feel like, yep, yep, yep. I'm actually more impressed than anything that like there is so much now. Like I said, it's been years. It's been a while. It's got to be at least 5 years now. Um, I'm interested in the A/B testing piece. That is interesting to me. Measuring conversion goals, yes, that is a must-have. Uh, there is a marketing automation platform that I will not name that I'm having the worst time with, and it has to do with measuring conversion goals. I'm like about to go crazy. So I appreciate when marketing automation has stuff like this. Your team will love it. Okay, work. Say goodbye to clunky workarounds. Your team will love how smooth and intuitive email marketing can be. This is a this is a brand promise that we are going to verify. Uh, okay, so I like this. I do feel like this could be larger. This feels very small. This feels small. I hate to use home run as an example here. Was it home run? We looked at a product a few weeks back and they had very large product imagery. Like we're talking like it's taken up almost the whole width of the page. And they only did that for product imagery. I will say this is very small and I'm on this is my 15-inch Mac. Is this 15-inch? I don't remember, but it's something it's definitely not 30. It's got to be 15 or 17. Um this does feel small, but it is still pretty. So, are we mad? I don't think so, but it is a little small. I feel myself squinting. I almost want to pinch and zoom, but that's not going to work on this. Or I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, I want it to be like, oh no, I think I broke it. I had a feeling I wasn't going to work the way I thought it was. Let's go back to, yeah, I guess I could. I want it to be like even bigger, but this size feels right. This feels a little small. That's my only critique so far. Okay, but we've got visual workflows, segmentation, broadcasts. Because again, like if we're product marketing people, we want to see product too. Um, user properties. Okay, this is setting my expectation, which I like. Yeah, I mean, this is very clean. It's very clean. I really, I mean, obviously we'll see when we sign up, but I also really appreciate that the product really matches the site in a very like cohesive way. I mean, we've got that sans serif. Sorry, we've got the serif font with the serif kind of, in between. It's also very white and black. Yep. Very monotone, monochromatic. I don't want to say sorry, not monotone, monochromatic. That would be more accurate. Because I don't feel like this is monotone. It's definitely monochromatic. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, this feels like it needs to be large, big, wider than the width of the text so far. Listen to our happy customers. Okay. Yeah, we have a scrolling. Oh, there's a name I recognize. Aguilos. Brennan Dunn. Recognize him. This is exactly how workflow builder should work. I'm noticing I cannot grab anything and move it around. Not a requirement, but it wouldn't shock me if people click into this and want to like click, drag, and hold, and then like send it over, and then like it'll scroll fast. They'll like throw it. Christian Jenko, recognize Christian. Yeah, these are names that I recognize. I think I'm curious what their roles are. I am curious what their roles are. Some of these guys I know are founders, and maybe it's possible that, there's like this, space and design, all that. But I am curious like how many of these folks are product folks um versus founders. Not to say that that's like, a requirement, but that is it's a curiosity that I have now that I'm thinking about it. Pioneering company level automation since 2017. Yep. Yeah. So for context, I started Demand Maven in 2018. Maybe we worked in 2020. I don't remember. It's been so long. 2019. Jane will. I feel like Jane will remember. If I like go through my records, I could figure out. But it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Um. Yeah, this is cool. Are your customers B2B teams? Should be emailing a flat list. User list. Yep. Oh, okay. So that is a question that we're gonna have to see now. So if I sign up with a brand new account, which I will, how much upfront, like, do I need to connect anything in order to see the product, or will they give me access? And like, will they have empty states, non-empty states? So that'll be something to explore. So we can segment. Account level workflows. Yeah. Okay. This is rare. You don't see account level workflows. Usually it's user level workflows. But you can trigger workflows based on what happens in the company level. Yeah. That that positions, I think, really well for product marketing teams and leaders that work in larger SaaS companies that need that account level. And not to say that like if you're small, you couldn't use account level, but we find especially in SaaS companies that have like sales led or enterprise motions that account level is really critical. Yeah, this is cool. Really, really, really enhanced. The coffee, okay, so the copy feels very it's playful in really specific areas. And I wonder I'm curious, like, who wrote the copy. It feels it's like it's very pointed where it needs to be and then playful in other places, which I appreciate. Let's geek out and see examples of powerful things you could do in Userlist. Um, this is another example of I might make these images bigger. Okay, I wonder if this feels like maybe because my screen is small. You see how it's like kind of to the well, maybe this is the center. And then this one's kind of to the left a little bit, and this one's like back to center, and it's kind of back to the left. I wonder if that might just be because my screen is a little small. I probably would make these images a little bigger, but just because I really want to see it. Um, I have my glasses on for this exact reason because I was like, I just feel like I'm not. I don't know. My eyes are, especially on this monitor. It's part of the aging process, I think. um, yeah. I mean, I feel like I understand what this does. I think that this section is really just to show me that like you can get real specific. I wonder if this would be better as a sometimes you can do like really fancy animations where you can have the animation where like imagine if this were actually a I hate to say a slider, but imagine if this were actually a slider and you can slide through examples. So example 1, example 2, example 3, etc. And each one of these is an animation that shows like clicking, like, doing the thing. I think animations would be very successful here. I'm not saying that that's required or anything. I just think like, oh, that would be really cool. Uh, but yeah, okay. So this is just walking me through use cases, it looks like, that are complex. So we're showing the complexity and like what user list can really do. Um, yep, we've got conditions and groups. Mhm. Editing user segments. Mhm. Oh, actually that's yeah, segment user yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yes. Creating advanced workflow triggers. Mhm. We are I feel like yes, like if you have done any amount of marketing automation, especially anything that's like behavior based or attribute based, like yeah, you're familiar with with stuff like this. Combine manual and self-serve onboarding. Mhm. Integration is a breeze. Oh, look at all these integrations. Yeah. So, like a product like Userlist, yes, this makes sense. So, strategically speaking, you want integrations. You've got many different types of marketers and many different product contexts and business contexts, and their tool stack is just going to honestly be all over the place, for better or for worse. There is definitely no monopoly that I know of, unless, maybe Salesforce for CRM, but for the most part, it's like but no, not even because there are tons of other CRMs that you could use. And then also similarly, interestingly, they do link to other marketing email tools, and probably because like they understand, eh, uh, I think part of the assumption is it's not just the one tool, although it could be cool if you could just use one tool. And I think user list may certainly be in that camp now where like you could just use user list and not hardly anything else. But I think more complex contexts where there are several tools for different use cases and ideally like all of your tools can kind of speak to each other. Yeah, I'm not surprised that they integrate with like a Mailchimp or what was the other one that I saw? There was another marketing logo, HubSpot. Um yeah, it's not surprising. That makes sense. Yeah. Good on user list. Very smart. And also too, you continue to grow as you one of the growth strategies here is obviously integration, which is great. You deserve a clean, well planned setup. Let us help. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember, Jane and Benedict talking about this, about how they do offer, like, it's part of, I think, the discovery and, like, the demo process now, but they do offer, like, a service. Yeah, you can pick one of our done for you packages. Interesting. Yep, book your discovery call. Mhm. Yeah, okay. I could see this. I mean, certainly product marketers could use this, but I could see this being very valuable for founders as well. Um, yeah, this is cool. So going back, they've got the done for you services. So I will say that we have a long page. We do have this is quite the page. It's like, in order for us to really make a recommendation, we need to understand performance. It does feel long. I wonder if there's something that could be cut. Um, but I will say it doesn't feel like, it feels delightful scrolling. This is absolutely gorgeous. So learn from thought leaders. We run an industry leading blog. Dig deep into SaaS email marketing so you can hit your growth targets. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you need this here, but I do appreciate that it is here. Gorgeous. Book your discovery demo. So it seems like call to action wise, they start with trial, and then trial. I will say this button does disappear even as I scroll, because I think the only other color here, like, we're oh gosh, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. We Because we do have a more monochromatic palette, black is how you make things stand out. So, like, if I'm on this screen, for example, the button at the top does not stand out visually, but just because, like, these testimonial boxes are also black. So visually, this has the weight, which makes sense. But if I scroll, I do kinda lose the start the free trial button. But what's interesting is, also the buttons are black in the actual product, screenshots. So that may feel, visually conflicting, more so from a visual perspective. So I'd be curious. I'd hardly ever recommend changing the colors of buttons. However, I do wonder if this button specifically needs to be a different color, but just because you want to make sure it always stands out visually. Now, I would say, like, as you scroll, like in these sections, the button still stands out pretty fine. But once you get to here, as stunning as it is, this is gorgeous. These do visually kind of outweigh that starting a free trial button. And it definitely, I mean, yeah, like, this is all about booking a demo. We see book a demo earlier. Yeah. We see it as almost like it's not quite a ghost CTA, but it is kind of like a ghost CTA. We see it kind of, like, tucked away in some parts. Um, I'm curious about that. Yeah, I'm curious about that. So traditionally speaking, what you wanna do is you wanna surface the CTA that works 80% of the time. That's actually a insight that I got from Dev Basu. So he recommends, um, surface the thing that 80% of the time works 80% of the time. So I think they call it, like, the 80/80 strategy or something like that. And I mean, it makes sense. So if starter free trial is the thing that ultimately works 80% of the time, like, then that should be the primary CTA, and then book a demo should be secondary. But there certainly are sections where you can say, for this section, we're gonna say book a demo. Like, that makes more sense. I'm not recommend making a recommendation here. I'm just kind of talking through, like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if there's, like, a reason behind that. But yeah, okay, cool. I'm just doing a quick time check. Yeah, so this is about par for the course. We haven't even gotten into features pages. I think based on time, I do just kind of want to sign up. I'll be honest. But I think visually though, I mean, this is gorgeous. I do think we need larger product images, but for the most part, I mean, yeah, this is. Um, I mean, it seems like I said, this is a platform. We're not in tool territory anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. So that's exciting. I'm curious about user onboarding. So before we dig in, okay, so I will say my first expectation was to see visuals, but I do see, like, we've got, like, our feature cards, so to speak. Okay, Now we see, okay, this is the same section from before, really, really advanced, really, really, really advanced, excuse me, 3 reallys. Um, okay, so we have a little bit of repetition of sections. I think, I mean, let's go through a couple of others. I think there's more we can do on these types of pages. There's definitely more that we can do. So these types of like solutions pages to me are all about telling stories about how you approach the solution. Now, I will say with the caveat that there are some buyers who don't care about the story. They just don't. They're like, "What are the features? Just tell me the features." And I like, yeah, like I think that that's absolutely fair. What I would play with is what about pages that tell stories about features, still condensing those features like in a way where people can learn more about them? Do these go into specific features pages? Documentation. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. 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 Yeah, I think that this is the tricky part. I feel like if you're technical, you wanna just get sent to documentation. I feel like, if you are more like, if you are like that product marketer, you probably want a little bit of both. Like, you want to know, like, what's the list of features, but also, like, what's your take on this that is unique, different, better, or special, or, like, more uniquely positioned for me? And I think maybe these pages could tell a little bit more about story. This is where the pages do start to feel a little bit repetitive. Yeah, they kind of have like a lot of the same sections and blocks. Like I've seen this before. A lot of the same sections. And so, like I said, some of this obviously makes sense to do. But I do think that we have an opportunity here. I would expect the features pages also to do something similar, but getting deeper into the feature itself. Um, this is about workflows. Okay. Yeah, I feel like there's a way to visually tell these stories. And maybe that's coming down the pipeline. Um, but yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I feel like we've spent a good enough time. We just have to look at the pricing page really quickly. And I do actually want to look at the blog. Just taking time. 32 minutes. Okay, this is not bad. It's not bad. Okay. We're gonna do these like last few pages like very quickly. Um, this is the primary plan, 349 a month. Okay. 12 bucks a month for each additional 1,000 users, 500,000 emails a month. Wow. Okay. That is a lot. But that makes sense if you're doing transactional. That does make sense if you're doing transactional. It's like that is a lot of emails, but okay. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you now. Conversion goals. Okay. This is what looks to be good, better, best. Good, better, best pricing strategy, and based on how many contacts. Yeah, users. Users. Interesting. Not contacts. Excuse me. Okay. The slider, I feel like there's something missing here. I feel like like we almost like need something to anchor the eye, but it does look good. This does clearly feel like a slider. And then yeah, this interestingly enough, we've talked about this type of control where you click the thing that's like inside of this. Now, we're targeting product marketers and also possibly still founders. I don't think anyone's going to get confused by this. But if we had like a less sophisticated audience, I would actually say don't do what is there's like a specific term for this. It's like bidirectional two-way control or something. I can't remember exactly what it's called. But it actually would be better if you had the text outside of the toggle and have a toggle in the middle. And then yeah, you toggle between monthly and annual without like clicking on the text itself. It would be like the toggle in the middle. But this works for more sophisticated audiences, more like, tech savvy audiences. So I think this is fine. Um, if we were targeting like, I don't know, yoga teachers or therapists or like audiences like that, I'd say we might want to change the control because for whatever reason, this does not visually read as something that you can click to a good portion of less tech savvy users. But I digress because that's not who we're targeting. I mean, the plans feel very simple. I am curious if we have a pricing grid. Okay, yes. I'm noticing that this does not stick. that should stick. This first, like this row should stick just to make sure people are clear what plan is what. Do we have hover states? No. Okay. So this could be a really good opportunity. They do link to pages. If you want to quickly get your message across, I would actually recommend doing a hover state on these where on hover a little message pops up to quickly explain it, and then if people still want to click through they can. You can do some people do like a little question mark icon to help that part of the process. You would be shocked though at how it impacts conversion rate in some cases. Not all, your mileage may vary, but in some cases on pricing pages, yes, like you do want people to dig deeper and to learn more, but if you can quickly communicate a message like right here on the pricing page, it actually helps with the decision making much faster. And then if they still have more questions, they can still dig in. But I would do a hover state on these, and that will help, especially the ones that people have the most questions on. That'll just help with like again helping people understand and make decisions very quickly. But we do have a like plan detail grid, which is a best practice. That is a best practice. Um, one question I have, the growth model here makes sense to me. Like monetization wise, we like the more users that we have, the more that we pay. I'm wondering what the other levers are. So we have custom properties and custom events. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's not included in basic. That makes sense. What is the difference between going from professional to enterprise? I guess it's a custom number of users. So I think when I think about like pricing strategy and monetization, I think about if we're doing good, better, best, there should be a very clear progression of going from one plan to the other. Going from basic to professional makes sense. And this is where a lot of teams struggle, I think. Not saying Userlist is struggling with this, but I think in my experience, that enterprise plan, going from professional to enterprise isn't as clear usually to users, and so they don't actually know like, well, should we do the enterprise plan and like what do we actually get out of it? I find like a lot of teams can sometimes struggle with that part, and that's something I think to think about. Not suggesting that that's user list's problem, but it's something that I think of when I see pricing plans that have that third tier for whatever reason is usually like the redheaded stepchild. And it's like it gets like none of the love and none of the attention. But I think it's just because like we don't actually understand yet like what makes someone want to upgrade, and then like what's the value metric that encourages the upgrade. But anyway, I digress. We're gonna go to blog because I just feel like it's gonna be gorgeous. And it is. I was correct. Yeah, this is beautiful. The palette expands on the blog, which I think is really interesting. Hmm. Where I'm seeing blue now. I think there was a little bit of blue. I think there was a little bit of blue on the features pages in this like pink, purple, whatever color this is. It looks like both to me. I don't know. And then like this very bold black. The black is like it's like grounding. It's visually very nice. Top guides. This imagery, I feel like this is Jane. This imagery, I don't know why, but I just think it's so like, it's attractive. Like it's very beautiful. Like it feels very there's like I don't know. I think of like it feels very classy. Um it feels timeless. It's giving Chanel. I don't know that like that brand comes to mind for me. That probably makes no sense. uh but I like this imagery. It's like very futuristic. I feel like I don't know. I'm a fan. It's also a little, like retro wave. I get a little bit of like retro wave vibes. I'm a fan. Uh, yeah. The imagery is very nice. Kudos to the team. I will say the clickability, I'm very tempted to click into these. But I will not because for the sake of time, because we still need to try the actual product. All right, we're gonna sign up. Enough site. Gorgeous website. Kudos to the team. Okay, we sign up now. I'm gonna use this keyboard. But I probably need like a proxy. Um, uh, can we? You don't see that, do you? Okay, cool. Giving away all my passwords. Uh, yep. Okay. Yeah. No new item. Oh, you know what? let's let's make this change, but just because I do have an account technically already. And yeah, I don't want to get my old account. I want to see new. Okay, so this is already very pretty. This is what I wish sign up flows looked like. So I'll start by saying that it's clean, it feels very modern. Um, some of the best practices that have been around the work now for a while has been like have a customer testimonial, remind people why it's valuable to sign up while they're signing up, things like that. I think for like something like Userlist, I don't know that you need to have things like that, but it could be interesting to see if it does impact conversion rates at all. Like it could be kind of nice to have like a little floating testimonial right here. Do I think it's required? No. But I will say this already feels very clean and very focused, and I'm honestly cool with that. Um, the question that I always struggle with. How would you describe your role and your skills? Well, it's a lot of these. Growth is never an option, and I think that's what I would pick. Um, I guess I'll say marketing. This is a purely me problem. This is not anyone else's problem but mine. But just because of the type of work that I do, I'm kind of everything. Continue. This is very pretty, like I said. Yeah, I love that this is telling me what's next. I'm a fan. Billing details. Interesting. Okay. Is this an opt-out experience? We shall see. Tell us about your product. Okay, so this is there's a lot going on here. Product name. I guess we'll just say Demand Maven. Product website, demandmaven.io. I wonder this has to be for like email deliverability. Default sender name. Oh, sure. Um, Demand Maven team. Default email address. Do we have a hello? If we don't have this, I probably should make one anyway. And maybe that can be like my proxy email because that'll keep it out of my main inbox. What's your SaaS product state? Hmm. Pre-launch? I don't have I don't have a product yet. Accurate. What's your company size? Uh, Technically, I have some team members, but they're not W-2 employees, so we can say probably just me. I'll do 2 to 10 because, like, in real life, I would be adding, like, Kim and, like, those folks to the account. What are you planning to achieve a user list? I wonder okay, we can check all that apply. Interesting. Huh. I wonder if we are going to get different, email sequences based on what I select, but we shall see. Okay, so this does feel clean. It does feel a little long, but that just might be what email marketing automation needs to do to be successful at least. Like, that just might need to be, like, what you need, like, what you do. Um, okay. Email automation goals. Oh, interesting. Is that because well, I guess, yeah, we're making the assumption here that we're here for email automation. Are you migrating from another platform? Um, no. Well, I don't know. Again, these are all me issues, not this is not probably for customers. Like, customers probably have a very clear automation goal. Um, I do wonder if I select one of these, will it take me through a what's it called? Like a wizard or like a process to immediately do that? And that might be something that we might be able to ease the what's it called? Anxiety there by having like a little tooltip or something. No, I'm starting from scratch. How would you describe your experience with email automation? I'm an email automation expert. I have no experience using it before. Yeah, I would say expert. Do you have your campaigns ready? Nope. We're gonna figure it out as we go. This is interesting. I'm also curious if there will be like prompts to do this. Like if I were to say I have full campaigns and email copy ready, does my onboarding experience change? Or is it like a no, we'll figure it out as we go situation? This also could be an interesting opportunity to, like, upsell services, so I wonder if that's why they're asking as well. Because we did see that they have, like, an onboarding, like, service that they do or, like, an email strategy workshop that they do. So this could also be how they do that. What's your current situation with customer data? Check all that apply. Do you have a tracking plan using customer data platform? So I will say that some of this feels like I feel like some of this onboarding flow feels like it's still for founders who maybe have never done anything like this before. I feel like if you're a product marketer, maybe this is just me. This might be my bias. This is absolutely my bias, I think. I feel like if you are a product marketer, some of these questions might feel um maybe like not like redundant, but almost like, "Don't worry about it, like, I got it." You know what I mean? Like, almost like, I've got this, and I could be wrong. Uh, I would be very curious, um, if there's maybe a different funnel because let's see, when I click create my account okay, so one thing I might add here is Userlist is positioning as product marketing, but there's no product marketing role here. I think if you select that you're a product marketer and possibly also marketing, um, you might you might skip some of these questions, and they don't seem to be required, to be fair. I think I probably could just skip a lot of these. Like, I don't see, like, any asterisk or anything here that suggests that I have to complete all of this now, but I feel like if I wanted to just, like, get in and get going, it might look like that. What's your current situation with customer data? Okay, going back to this question, I personally don't have anything in place yet, but I imagine many teams have like a segment or a mixed panel or keep. Does your product support teams does your product support teams, companies? This is a very interesting question. I like if you're PLG, like this does I think matter because it probably impacts like how you set up the account. Okay. Anything else you should know for to help? Okay, I see. Got it. Huh, interesting. Um, nope. Sorry, I am junking up your trial experience. Um, okay. So this is loading some, let's see, some trial like billing details. The total after the trial is 104. Total due now is 0. Okay. How long? 14 days. Okay. This is a good summary. I am curious though. Oh, I actually like that you can toggle. So this, okay. I like this. This is a great experience. I wonder if this is like an embed. How is this built? I'm really curious about how this is built now. This I mean, it looks custom with like an embed of some kind or like a something something, but yeah, this is cool. Um, I will probably go off screen, enter this, and then come back and I'll show you what it looks like. But I really appreciate that you can toggle between these two things because um they're sometimes, like, whenever you sign up, especially if you're doing opt out, so this to me is opt out. We have to enter in our credit card to get access. Sometimes when you do opt out, it's actually really tough to know, like, what plan are you actually getting or signing up for actually. And also, what I appreciate about this experience is that Userlist is basically saying, "Hey, do you wanna start with basic or do you wanna start with professional?" And I really appreciate that. You'd be shocked at how many opt-out experiences don't ask you, like, "Well, which one do you just wanna start with?" Even though, like, we're not charging you. Which I will say, visually speaking, I would make this very abundantly clear that you will not be charged until after the 14-day free trial. There is a way to just make it, like, very visually clear. I mean, yes, this says total due now is $0, but I still would add some, like, extra, like, copy of some kind somewhere that's like, "Don't worry, you won't be charged until X date," and I really, really, really like it when on opt-out pages like this, that, it, like, spells out exactly what date is coming up because now I have to do the math of, like, 14 days from now, if that makes any sense. So, those are, like, 2 tweaks that I would maybe add, but I will say this is great. Highly recommend. I'm gonna start with basic. I'll come right back. I'm going to stop sharing screen. Enter so you don't see any of my shenanigans. Okay. Okay. So you don't see anything, right? Okay, cool. This does not hide the I'm actually so glad I went off screen for this. Oh my god. It doesn't hide like the credit card information. That is such a it's a small thing, but it might be worth like making it private like once people enter in the text. We're going to start trial and then I will reshare and then I'm going to immediately cancel. I'm so sorry guys. But just because I just really don't want to forget because that is par for the course for me. Window, users, user list. All right. So this is, again, it's minimal. I really, really, really appreciate not just having an empty state. So I think like most SaaS companies that I work with, they don't they kind of forget about like what their empty states are and they don't necessarily have like a plan for like what to do with them. This right off the bat is like, hey, there's nothing here yet. And here's why. You will start seeing stuff here when you do your integration. Make sure you book your free road mapping call so we can help you plan your integration. Now, okay, there are two caveats to this. So, first of all, this is amazing. So, kudos to Userlist team for not just having an empty state on the first thing that someone sees. What I would probably do though is yes, book the road mapping call. I think there should be a second call to action if possible. I might even also make a button that's just like visually very clear of like click this. But so I probably won't book the road mapping call, but I would read documentation at this point. So what's the documentation that should be linked here? Um, that could support someone who does just want to go full self service and maybe not like do the road mapping call. The other thing too is I see what is this? Is this Help Scout? Okay, Help Scout. What up, Help Scout? So I would be curious. If I'm clearly like tooling around in the product, does the chat box pop up and say, "Hey, kind of seems like maybe you need help. Do you want to do a road mapping call?" That would be a great opportunity to automate that experience if people look like they're kind of confused. There's probably like you could do it maybe like time based, possibly behavior based. Just depends. I don't know if Help Scout has that ability, but that would be a good way to trigger people to book a road mapping call, especially if they're kind of just like aimlessly wandering around in the product. But there are different ways I think that you can predict that, but I digress. Okay, so this feels like the site that we saw, which extremely consistent design wise. Yeah, it's cute. Waiting for data to arrive. So now I'm really curious what the product looks like or what it should look like. And I think that's also a great argument for. Remember when I was like, "Oh, the images are a little small." Like they're very pretty, but they're a little small. That's actually a great use case for like when people do log in for the very first time, if they don't immediately tackle their integrations, at least showing them what it could look like, I think that's a good use case. Oh, okay, we just got like a little sent with user list. I would make that brighter. I'm noticing it because user list has visually trained me to notice these like monochromatic tones. I'd make that like blue or something. But anyway, get your step-by-step guide. Check out these step-by-step guides for popular pricing models, free trial, freemium pricing, other pricing models. Interesting. Welcome on board. We encourage you not to skip planning. um, that's hilarious. I might massage that copy a little bit, but yeah, I get the idea. Uh, yeah, these little guys are adorable. There are no segments at the moment. Create your first segment, company segments. Hmm. Oh, it changes. The little images change every time, even down here. Oh my gosh. Look at this whimsy. See, I love when products have whimsy. I'm obsessed. Now we're just going to click on these to see what all the graphics are. There are so many of them. Okay. This is adorable. Wow, that's so cool. So now I'm like actually kind of excited to see all of them. Let's create your workflow. So this is, I think, what they were showing us before. I mean, yeah, this a very clean design. I will say I don't have an obvious clear next step. And I wonder if that's because okay, so when I think about like the onboarding and answering all the questions, there probably are very specific next steps that based on what I answered, you'd want me to take. So for example, I think I said like I didn't really know what my plan was. I don't really know what the copy should be. We're gonna figure out the whole integration part later. I wonder if there's an opportunity, for example, to just like guide me here and be like, hey, like, do you just want to go and set up your integrations? Because you're gonna be looking at basically nothing until you do that. So that could be an interesting I wonder if there's opportunity to personalize that experience, and it's very, very possible and highly likely that if I had selected other things, I might have seen, like, a different experience. I am curious, though, if that is configured today, like, onboarding-wise. But I'm kind of imagining, like, if you have this role and you specified these parameters, like, those questions, basically, what are now the next steps, ideally, that you should take based on, like, what you answered? That I think would be interesting to explore. I do like the whimsy of these images. I do kinda wish, though so products like this, not having the empty state is great. Like, the fact that this is not just blank is honestly amazing. You'd be shocked at how many SaaS products don't care or don't think about that type of thing. I wonder if there's an opportunity, though, to see a sandbox account. Uh, that could be interesting to build and offer upon sign up of like, do you want to start from scratch or do you want to see a sandbox or possibly maybe both? Like, I know there are some products that do this where, yes, like you get like your account, but you also get access to like a sandbox account and then they kind of guide you through the sandbox and then you go and you do your thing. But more so than anything, just to kind of set the expectation of what life will be like, especially if you're thinking about, I don't know like how deep user list is into you like enterprise at this point, but when I think about like enterprise use cases or even like mid-market SaaS, a lot of the times these champions want to show something without like fully committing to buying it quite yet. So like a sandbox account with data that's populated to kind of show people like this is what it will look like helps so much with building like business cases for like actually transitioning to the product or adding it on or what have you. User list might not be there yet, but if that's where they're going, like into that like mid-market enterprise kind of shenanigans, a sandbox account might actually help a lot with making very clear, like, just yeah, just like clear sales momentum, like in that way. But it is gorgeous though. I mean, and like I said, they set our expectation with the website, getting into the product. I feel like I know like what's what. Um, okay, I'm also noticing too that even like the boxes here are very clean design. I mean, it's so usually with products like this also, you get a lot of like visual complexity and when it comes to like configuring things, it can get very busy very fast. And what I appreciate about this is it seems like Userlist is kind of setting the standard for email marketing automation and lifecycle marketing and transactional emails shouldn't feel like you are building a spaceship. It should feel clean and like you're not going to be overwhelmed. So already I'm a fan. This was awesome. Okay. I am curious about integrations. Oh, they have like a SavvyCal integration. That's cool. Sender profiles. Oh, I think that's already. I was in domains. That's right. Domain Maven team. All of this was set up front. Do you need that? I think is TBD. So a lot of this we kind of created like in those upfront forms. It's interesting because I think I would adjust the sign up flow to be a little different. This is still helpful to kind of have on deck in the sign up flow process, but I almost would rather it just depends. It really does depend, I think, on the user type. There are some that I would say, yep, have them set it up all at once. Like again, like founders, yeah, like have them do all that while they're signing up. That makes sense. I think for certain types of marketers though, in certain segments, that would be done like later. Well, you'd really want them to qualify themselves. So like asking them questions about their team size, about like yes, like use cases, jobs to be done, like that type of thing. Like that helps a ton because then you can personalize based on that. But I almost wonder like how do you identify if someone's a PQL, like a product qualified lead, or like someone should book a demo based on the information they gave us? And I got maybe less of that impression and more of like the we want to set up your account like upfront. But generally, like not making a recommendation, I just think it's interesting because there are different ways to approach that part. Okay. Oh, topics. What are topics? Um, I'm wishing. Oh, here we go. My little Riverside sharing box is it was blocking this. What are topics? Topics are used in subscription purposes, and users have better control of their inbox. Okay, so this is kind of like I guess this is kind of like subscriptions. So I know in other marketing automation platforms, users can subscribe to certain like subscription tiers, and it looks like that's what topics are in this. Yeah, that makes sense. Uh, and there's transactional. You just cannot see that, and they cannot unsubscribe. Amen. You should not be able to unsubscribe from transactional emails, in my opinion. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. Yeah, abusing it may affect your GDPR compliance. Unsubscribe from communications. Yeah. Makes sense. Very clean, like I said. I do wonder it's worth it's I think possibly worth an experiment, possibly. It really depends on activation rates, and retention rates before maybe considering like a sandbox would make sense. But because this is opt out, that actually makes me feel like maybe you don't need to. With opt out, the implication is that there's pressure to get value out of it before you get charged, right? What I wonder though is are there people who sign up, they look and then they're like, I don't know, but it's because there's no like they do have to put in the work. But before they're able to make a business case for it, they're kind of torn because they might not be able to make a business case until they can see like what life was like or will be like. Yeah, that could be a really interesting, like, friction point that Userlist will test, I'm sure, over the years, possibly even beyond. That might be an interesting not like conflict of interest, but, like, it's a friction point. So it's like, how do you get these more experienced product marketers and their teams to use this product? So, yeah, I'm curious how activation has been looking. We don't have any hard data, obviously, so we don't know. We really can't and shouldn't make any assumptions here. But I do think it's yeah, I wonder, like, if that will be, something that they think about, like, in the future. But cool. I feel pretty resolved on this. Yeah, we're almost right at time. I just wanna check, like, your account. Okay. Like I said, it's very clean. Oh, I probably shouldn't. Okay, good. I was like, is it gonna show my all of my data? No, it's not. Okay, cool. Um, Probably one of the more successful, like, upgrade plans or, pages that I've seen, I probably would make these buttons, bright. Like, I might change the color of these, but I do appreciate that there are very clear calls to action. Okay. I can't scroll, but I think it's just because I don't have, like, a ton of history, obviously. Um, Here's the first time I'm seeing the date that I'll be charged, October 13th. Cool. I like this little tag here, trialing. Yeah, so I think there are a couple of things here. I think, interestingly, opportunity-wise, activation, some combination of, like, what prompts are you giving me? Visually speaking, I think some of these things could have clearer next steps visually. So, like, when I squint my eyes, for example, we're gonna do the squint test. When I squint my eyes, what's the thing I'm supposed to click? And that is, I think, one of the core design opportunities for the product. 'Cause my eye is being drawn towards this black briefcase and then the black chat box. But when I think about, like, what am I supposed to do next on this screen, that I think is the opportunity for each of these. And then also similarly, I haven't seen any, like, prompts or anything yet, but overall, it looks great. I wish I could, like, import data and oh, actually, look at this. This is a button. But it is black. That I think is gonna be design-wise, like, one of the more challenging things is, like, when do you use a splash color, excuse me, versus the black because the black is so bold. But, yeah, it's exciting though. I mean, like I said, I've only raved so far about how beautiful it is. Um, I think that's everything. I always wish we could do more, like, in these, like, try with me's, but, it does require probably revealing a lot of sensitive data, so I do wanna be sensitive to that, obviously. I will not be, like, configuring and, testing, but it is good to just, like, see what this looks like, as all of these are. Lots of really cool ideas from this. Alright, cool. As per usual, thanks so much for joining me. We covered a lot today. We covered a lot of, like, design, copy, lots of inspo to take, I think, from Userlist. As always, if you're interested in Userlist, I highly recommend that you go and check them out. Userlist.com, gorgeous product. And also, too, if you're SaaS PLG, if you're a product marketer, if you're a founder and you need the full gamut, the full trifecta, I highly would recommend that you check out Userlist. Kudos to the team. It looks incredible. And the feel of it is just way different, like, excellent work. I mean, it feels so premium, and I'm so curious, like, what fully working, accounts look like. But apart from that, thanks again for joining me. Sign up, for like, if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe. We do these I try to do them every Monday. Sometimes I miss a Monday, but I always schedule them, so you always know when they're coming. And then similarly, yeah, LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn. That's where we promote these as well, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out. Bye.